All right, hello everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're connecting from. Thank you all for joining us for our webinar today. In this presentation, we will be discussing how to enhance the guest experience and run a more efficient operation using Squirrel version 11. My name is Megan Funk. I'm on the customer success team here at Squirrel Systems, and I will be your host today. Presenting our webinar is Patrick Paris, Systems and Sales Engineer. And joining me as co-host is Cyrus C., Senior Product Marketing Manager. Before we kick things off, there are a few housekeeping items to cover. Today's webinar is scheduled to last about 30 minutes with a Q&A session at the end. All attendees will be muted during the presentation. If you have a question at any time, please post in the questions tab and we will go over them in the Q&A session. This webinar will be recorded and published for viewing. We will share those details in a communication afterwards. At the end of the presentation, we will have a short post-webinar survey. We would really appreciate if you all took the time to provide your feedback. Okay. In today's webinar, we will give you a tour of Squirrel version 11, our flagship point of sale system for hospitality. We know many of you have been using Squirrel Point of Sale for a long time, and by the end of this webinar, we hope you will come away with a complete understanding of how the newest version of Squirrel can help you run your business better. We have hundreds of sites running Squirrel 11, from small independent restaurants to hotels and resorts with multiple locations. Today, we'll touch on why Squirrel 11 would make a great upgrade to your point of sale, and then we'll jump right into a product tour so you can see firsthand some of the features and capabilities that managers and staff love. We'll then touch on some things you should consider as part of your upgrade, and we'll also make sure to have some time at the end to answer the questions posted in the questions tab. All right, and without further ado, I would like to introduce today's presenter, Patrick Paris, Systems and Sales Engineer. Go ahead, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Megan. And good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on which time zone you're in. We appreciate you spending this time with us to talk about kind of the enhancements and why it's important to look at upgrading your system to Squirrel version 11. We're going to touch on a number of things today. We're going to talk about features that range anywhere from our 6.0 to 11.0 product, depending on which versions of software you're in. A lot of these features are available on the upgrade, and some of them are actually available today. Most people just don't know that they're in there and that they can take advantage of them. We want to really hit on three major points today. One is going to be to enhance the guest experience. We continually develop our program to make sure that your staff can spend less time on the terminal, getting the information in accurately and clearly, but able to spend more time with your staff to deliver the amazing guest experience you want them to have. Ultimately, that requires us to create features, functionalities, and processes for operational efficiency. We want them, again, less time on the computer, but being exceptionally accurate and fast, and letting you be able to have them do the things that you need them to do to optimize your labor dollars. And then, of course, the ultimate goal is always to reach more customers. And we'll touch on that, and we've been touching on it in the last several weeks about the digital ordering experience, different ways for customers to contact you, different revenue streams, whether it is online, in-house, they want the digital experience, those pieces, takeout and delivery, all of those pieces are tied into it, and getting upgraded to version 11.0 will give you the best overall experience, and we hope to show you guys that today. So what we're going to do is jump right in here to the Squirrel Product 11 tour. They're just going to let me share my screen. Okay, everybody should be able to see my screen now, correct, Cyrus?
That's correct.
Okay, so we're going to jump right in today with the Squirrel 11 demo, and I'm going to show you a number of new features that people find exciting. One of the ones just to touch on, if you're a longtime Squirrel user, this one was pretty exciting, was the ability for us to increase the departmental or revenue center names on the pick list. We have recently expanded this so that we don't have to abbreviate them. If we want to arrange them in a certain order, we can do that by putting a number in front of it to default where we want it in the pick list. But I'm going to start out by logging into the dining room. And to jump right in, the first thing that we want to show you guys out there is the message center. And this piece is great for communicating to staff any number of things. It can be that there's a new menu program coming up, new uniform standards, staff meetings, anything that you want like that. Of course, these are printable. They can print and sign them and turn them in, but it lets you communicate to the staff and not have to do everything through a lineup. They can just do this when they're logging in. It's part of their initial view. And of course, it has different options for programming for how you're going to see these new features. We can also show them any items on countdown. So things that we're running low on, things that have a certain number associated to it, just so they know. Because there's really nothing worse than coming in, placing an order, and immediately finding out something was low, and by the time you ordered it, it was out. As well as things that are already at 86 or inhibited. So they get that view right for them from the beginning of their shift, so that it's quick, easy, and concise of kind of what's going on. The next thing that I wanted to show everybody was the floor plan. And it's amazing as we talk to people that have been using our product for a long time, in the different versions, that they don't really even realize that the floor plan is there and an option. So we wanted to show that today. And this floor plan can be used for managers and their initial view. It can be used for staff, and they can really pick and choose. And that's really one of the things that Squirrel really does. We're trying to enhance that user experience, let people work where they're the most comfortable. So if they're comfortable with the floor plan, they can use this, or they can use kind of the classic view of just looking at their section and their tables as we go. One of the other features that we're pretty excited about, we built this for one of our large property customers, and it's a born on date. And we're amazed at the number of people that have staff either printing paper or printing individual slips that they're walking around and attaching to terminals to let them know what the birth date is for someone who is 21. Of course, that age is configurable for different counties, regions, municipalities, for the legal drinking age. But they can come right here, print it off, hang on to it, or check at any time, thus freeing up staff to do other things, more important things. The next feature that I'm going to show you guys today is our suspend feature, and this is fantastic. People really like it. So let's say I'm in the middle of placing a large group order, and I don't remember a drink, or I don't remember what they specifically wanted for something. Well, I can actually suspend the order and walk away from the terminal. Anybody can come behind me, log in, do what they need to do, come in, log in, place orders. I can then come back to that terminal or to any other terminal within the system, log in, and now I can come right back to that order. So I can place that and send that off so that I don't have to tie up the terminal. I'm letting other people maintain their efficiencies. I'm getting the information that I needed to add to that order and then continue on. Before, in a lot of other systems, you have to tell people not to mess with it. You hope the person behind you is not going to go ahead and send it because they're in a hurry and they don't want to walk to another terminal. So it's just a great piece for operational overall efficiency so that they can do what they need to do as easily as they need to. The next feature that we wanted to show you guys today, which we've been pretty excited about, we've done this for a number of our customers, is actually a true refund. So in the past, we've had to program and do different things for people that want refunds, or we've just done a paid out and made a notation of what it's supposed to be. Well, now I can actually come in and let's say that somebody came in and ordered this to go, they came back in, it was awful, they want a refund. I can ring it up, actually go in and hit the refund piece, and it'll actually change that to a negative. Once I now go to payment, I can pay this however I want to. I can pay it out with cash, credit card. I can pay it out to a room charge. I can pay it out to any method of payment that we want to, and it's sending that true negative, and we're tracking everything in the background correctly. So we're showing the reduction in the inventory that we didn't actually use it up. We're reflecting it on the reports and all of those pieces. So it makes it a very nice feature, especially if you're running any type of small gift shop, or you do tend to see a few more refunds for whatever reason that might be. So it's a great feature to use. Something that we recommend everybody kind of get into and take advantage of if it fits within your particular operation. The next one that we wanted to show, and especially in today's environment, I'm going to bring up a couple of items here, and I'm going to go to the check tab, and we call it the room and account check. And this room and account check gives us the option to print a check, but be able to print the ability for them to sign for, say, like a house account. It's used primarily in hotels and large properties, but we are seeing a number of people that are starting to use it because they've got companies that are coming in. They want to do multiple events or order every day, but they don't want to cut a check every day. They don't want to have to go through that process. They want to do one at the end of the month. So we can do some house account pieces. We've got some options on the background for that, but then we can actually make the check very easily, print this up when necessary, so they can fill it out, write in the account number, the company name, who's actually doing it, print the signature, so that we can track those things and make it a little bit easier on the backside. Been very popular, especially through COVID, having options to do different things. The next feature that I'm going to show you is actually what we call our tip out feature. And not a lot of people know that this is in here. It's a pretty exciting feature. It gives us a lot of ability to go and tip out staff based on their job and the different things that they're doing. So I can actually come in, select server. Now I can come up here and I can see what are my food sales, what are my liquor sales, what have I done total, what are my tips. So my charge tips, my force tips, if I actually put in my cash tips, and then I can actually tip out. So I can tip out to Johnny the food runner and have a record of that we're going to keep track of. I can tip out as a bartender or as a server to my bartender based on my sales, which I can have that print up on the cash outs so that they see what they need to do based on sales targets and levels, which makes it really easy. Then once I come and fill this out, I'll hit done. It'll print a slip. It'll show my tip outs, any tips that I've had coming in from other staff members, all right there for manager review. So it's a great feature that people are using quite a bit nowadays, as we are really seeing a bit of an uptick of sites that are doing more tip out and tip sharing, different pieces like that. The next feature that I want to show you guys that we're pretty excited about is manager drawer. Manager drawer assign, essentially. For years and years and years within the Squirrel system, the employee assigns the drawer. So as a bartender, I go in, I hit drawer assign, I pop in my card or my number, it then assigns the drawer to me. What we've had is a lot of requests that managers want to do that, and they want to do it by shift. So the manager is actually going to go in and assign the drawer to the staff member that's going to have access to it just prior to their shift or just as their shift is starting. So I can come over, hit manager drawer. I can, and you would do this on the terminal that is attached to the drawer. I'd come up, if there's two drawers, I can do it. Drawer one, I can scroll down and find all of my employees, and I'm going to assign this one to Frank. So now Frank is assigned to that. The manager can easily go and unassign Frank from the drawer when Frank's shift is over, different pieces like that, or if Frank forgets to unassign it from himself. So it gives us a lot of options and a lot of different things that operations can use for what works best in their environment. The next one that I'm going to show you guys, which is a great feature, and Squirrel for years and years and years has been, if I work multiple departments, so if I'm working in the bar versus working in the dining room, maybe I'm covering dining room tables as well. If I'm doing the bar, covering some dining room tables as well as doing to go, it's always been log out of this department and log back in. Well, we've changed that. So now I can be logged into the dining department, which you see right here, but I can come down over here to switch department, and then I can choose bar. That's now going to automatically keep my login, and it's just going to drop me to the bar department. If I come to switch department here, and I come down and I want to hit to go, now I can drop to my to go department. So I can very easily manage and maneuver between those different departments just with our switch department feature. Getting a lot of positive comments on that, especially from sites now that are running with fewer staff and they need them to do more with less, right? The COVID era, there are new challenges that we're seeing on this, on the backside, and making it easier for staff members to do more jobs with fewer steps and making it easier on them has been very, very, very popular. The next one that I want to show is order department. And this one is really, really nice. I like this one quite a bit. So if I'm actually placing an order, so I'll come over here and I'll order a couple of appetizers and I send that off, that will actually come and it will show dining room on my requisitions. If I come in and I'm just going to add another table 12, if I come into table 12 now, and let's say that I'm doing one, this can actually be a to-go option. So a lot of sites now don't want to do the modifier in the dining department for to-go. They want to track those to-go sales. So it's another department and or revenue center. So what we are actually seeing is we want the ability to quickly make those changes, get the reporting in the right place, but not actually have to have the staff log in, log out, do a bunch of other stuff. Well, we have a feature called order department. And if I ring this up and I hit this button right here to go, what that's going to do now is when I send it, you'll notice now it's going to actually show it's ordered from the to-go department. It's going to do all of the things that it needs to do. And if I actually take this table 12 now and hit check and hit print check, it will actually now also do a package charge because I've got one set up for to go to where we're charging a little bit more for packaging it up, the things that we have to do for COVID, those kind of things. And I never had to log out. All I had to do was hit one button. Now, when I run the reports on the backside, it's going to show those sales in the to-go department so that they are recorded correctly so I can really get that granular view of what's going on within the system and what my business is actually doing, where the different pieces are. The next feature that I want to show you is kind of a fun feature, and it ties in both with training and with mobility. So if I'm actually coming in here to this table and I come to my entrees, if I was using mobility and somebody had told me, I can't really decide what I want, I'm thinking between this or this, we could actually come over, go more, go item image, and hit grilled ribeye, and we can have that item come directly up on the screen, which is fantastic. So I can use this from a training standpoint to talk to my staff about this is what the plate is supposed to always look like. If it doesn't look like this, you tell the kitchen to redo it. If I'm using a tablet, if I'm tableside, patio side, poolside, I can actually use this just if somebody wants to go, can't decide which one sounds better. Well, let's look at which one looks a little bit better. I can do the same thing with desserts, and you could do an individual item that is like a dessert cart, or you could do them individually, right? And I could come over here, go more, go item image, hit my cheesecake, and pull that right up. So it's a nice feature, again, can be used a multitude of different ways, and that's really what we're going for overall. Make sure that you can optimize the system for both training, staff enhancements so that they're able to work cleaner, faster, and more efficiently, and then also to provide that amazing guest experience for the people that are coming in. I'm going to switch over to the bar side right now for a couple of more features as we can kind of continue to move on. And the first one that I'm actually going to show you is fast cash. So if I come over here and I'm placing an order, I'll go to my speed screen, bring up a few, and if they're just paying me cash, I can actually just come over and hit fast cash. It's quick, it's easy, it's fast, it's going to do everything for me. It's going to print the check. If we want to have the tip calculator on there, we absolutely can, and have those different pieces so it's really, really fast. The next thing that we've actually got, which people have been pretty excited about, and we've had it for OSI for a number of times, but now we can actually do it in the bar, and that's predefined payment amounts. So I've got a check that's $43.60, but they paid me with a 50. I can just hit 50, it's going to tell me my change, and then I can go and close it out. So I can do really as many as you want. Most places we find are doing 5, 10s, 50s, and 100s. Some people are mixing 20s and taking the lower dollar amounts out. Just depends on your preference. Of course, we can make room and put all of those on the screen just depending on your particular needs. The next one that I want to show you is recall tabs. And that one's been around for a while, but it's amazing how many people don't actually know about it. So I'm just going to here really quick, create some tabs. And by doing this, I can show you how the screen fills up pretty quickly with tabs. And we typically get about 12. And I can scroll to look at these. But if you're a busy bar, college bar, casino, if you just have a really busy bar environment, it becomes a little bit cumbersome to do that. But I can go to recall tabs, select the tab that I want. And then I can come in here. I can name it. And then that name will actually show up on the recall. So I can actually find Tom, can name it whatever I want. With this particular one that's actually set up, I can see 60 tabs across here. So depending on your bar, if you would ever have 60 tabs, great. If we need to configure this buttons a little bit smaller, I can get more on there. Just depends on your particular preference. But it is a great feature that people really like to give us a lot of bang for our buck just to make operational faster, especially in the bar environment, because those can be very, very fast paced. And again, we want to make sure we're getting as many transactions as we can through the system in the shortest period of time. The next thing I'm going to show you guys, and this is something that's been around for a while if it's actually built, and we can actually do conversational ordering. So what I've got set up right here is kind of a semi-Starbucks. My wife and daughter really like it. We're there all the time. It's not kind of my world, but I get a kick out of they never order the same drink that they get all the time the same way. So we were actually looking at options to make it easier for the staff to follow along with them as opposed to having to rearrange it. So if somebody comes in and they start and they want a Vendi, non-fat, espresso, double shot, we can do that. So I can hit it right there. I can do a quick payment with my quick settlement options. I can do exact, I can just do cash. But if I do 20, I'm off and I can move on to my next piece. So now you'll see that it's set it. But if they order the Jamaican blend and decaf and then they do the grande, I can do that as well. Then if they want to do a 1 pound coffee added to that, and then we can use the screen and say, hey, we should remember to upsell. So just right here on this main screen, I can say, hey, would you guys care for a coffee cake or a black and white cookie? Yeah, we'll do the black and white cookie. Now we can come over here and settle this off to any form of payment you want. I'm just going to do cash. He gave me a 50, and then we're done. So conversational ordering is an option that's out there depending on how we actually build the database, but it's a great feature for you to know that you can use, and again, really help your staff make it a smoother process for the people that are actually coming in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually move on to the back of the house, and I'm going to log in, and I've got a couple things back here that I want to show you guys before we transition back over to the other side. So the first thing that I want to show you is under daily setup and menu entry setup. The digital experience for everyone today is very important. It's exceptionally important for Squirrel to provide a really nice process for this. And what we've done within the system is we've made it so we can actually do our online configuration right here. So you have the ability within Squirrel, you don't have to go to a third party, we don't have to go to another website, you don't have to use an iPad to actually come in and set up your online ordering and how you want it to work. Come in here, select the item. This is now going to go to through the online portal and be available online. I can select the name. What do I want to call it? A brief description. I can come and load the image and add the picture, all from right here. Then when the system does its normal updating processes, it will push those through the portal and it will get to our online providers, which we're going to show you in a couple of minutes, that we have a couple of different options. But it's a really powerful piece that, again, is going, hey, within the Squirrel product, we're going to let you manage your online pieces just from right here. We're pretty proud of it. We're excited to get it out there. We're getting a lot of positive feedback on it. That it's just a very, very easy process. Now, the last thing that I want to talk to you guys today is about some of the things that we've done for reports. Now, over the years, reporting has changed a little here and there. We've added a few reports. We've done some stuff. But we've always had the challenge within Squirrel of, I really want to look at my business from a granular standpoint, and I'd like to have the ability to do that. So we've done that. So within the transactions, I'm just going to use this one as an example. If I run the transaction report, if you've used Squirrel and you're familiar with running reports, you should be familiar with this. But what we changed was the way that I can actually choose the departments that I want to report on. So of course I can come over and do an all departments. And it used to be you had a choice of all departments or one department. But we've been enhancing the system and making it so now I can come in, and if I don't want to do all departments, maybe I just want to do my 2 dining rooms. I want to look at those. I want to get that granular view so that I can run a report specific to that sub portion of the business. If I've got multiple bars, or if I want to look at to-go and online sales together, but I want to look at my in-house bar, dining, and carry-out, I can look at those different parts of the business. I can make it very, very easy, very clear, so that I can look at that and know what changes or adjustments that I want to make depending on the revenue stream that I am the most interested in. So a lot of our reports offer that. We're still enhancing it, giving it more reports with that same option because it's something that a number of people have been looking for. So that is the majority of the direct stuff. I'm going to hand this back over to Megan. So give me 1 second. Okay, so the last piece that I really just want to touch on, because we were going through the online ordering through the point of sale system, is Squirrel and the online ordering options and third-party delivery groups that we work with. And what this screen right here is showing you is that there are 2 distinct paths to get it to go through. And the nice part about it is it's integrated. So we don't have to have an iPad. You don't have to use a fax machine. When we're working with these groups, it's coming into the system just like a server was inputting it at a terminal, which is great because then you don't have to worry about server error, missing the order, having any delays in that area. The first one you're seeing over to the left is actually talking about our groups for delivery, whether it's Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes, they're coming in via an Eckstein, Tacit, or Olo. And those are 3 groups that we work directly with for online ordering so that they can come directly into the point of sale. And like I said earlier, those orders, whether it's coming from a desktop, a tablet, or their phone, are coming through Eckstein, Tacit, or Olo and directly into the point of sale. So it's coming directly in, it's hitting your kitchen printers, your kitchen video, and showing up as a check exactly as it would if a staff member was ringing it in. On the right, we're actually showing our integration with Chally. And Chally lets us have multiple providers come through a single source, which is great because, again, we're managing those items through the point of sale. So if I go in there and choose the item, it's going to populate up and go to all of them if you're choosing to do those items in each one. The best part about it is with our integration and the two-way communication, if I want to inhibit an item, I don't want to allow it to be ordered on any longer, I can inhibit it on the point of sale, just like we do now, and that will populate back through. There's a small window of time for it to populate back through Chally and those different groups. So it's a fantastic interface that you can really take advantage of. And again, we're trying to give you the tools and make it so that it's a central point management, but you're actually being able to reach people where they want to go to place orders to your environment. This is just a quick video to show you an example of one of our customers and an online ordering experience. So I can come here, click on items. It's going to pull up pictures. It's going to pull up a brief description. Let me go through and choose. Now, just like normal online ordering, I'll pick my items, I'll modify them, add them to my cart, and then we're going to go through the payment process, whether that is going to be a pay online or pay on property if you're actually going to pick it up. But the nice part about this video is it does really show you the power and depth of the experience that we can provide to the end user. And again, that is desktop, tablet, or on their phone, however they need to do it. Then they'll go through the payment process, finish their order. It'll come down through the portal. It'll come into the Squirrel system, hit the kitchen exactly as if it had been rung in at a terminal by an employee, which is great because you don't have those failure points and that human error to cause issues as those are being put in. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Megan.
Great. Thanks so much, Patrick, for that detailed overview and demo of Squirrel version 11. So as Patrick mentioned, if you are already on Squirrel 11, you will be able to access many of these capabilities that you saw today. However, many features here are not available with older versions of Squirrel, such as Squirrel 8 and 9. The good news is that if you're already on EasyCare, you can always get access to the latest version of Squirrel software. To make it even easier to upgrade, we are offering a number of incentives when you upgrade and switch to one of our preferred payment processing partners. These incentives include free on-site installation of a new host PC or terminal with Squirrel 11. This includes waiving fees related to upgrading SQL drivers and installing new EMV payment drivers. We're also offering free setup of new contactless payment devices and free setup of online ordering. Finally, for many customers, you can reuse much of your existing hardware if it isn't too old, but if you need to upgrade to the latest terminal workstations, we offer hardware discounts of up to 35% for current customers. If you're interested in learning more, please reach out to your Squirrel sales rep or authorized reseller for details. On that note, we had a few questions come in here, so I'm going to pass it over to my co-host Cyrus to begin the Q&A.
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Megan. So just as a reminder, if you have a question, please feel free to drop it into the question screen or window on your webinar controls. We'll just take a look here. So we do have some questions. The first question is, can you tell us a little bit more about what's involved in the upgrade process? Do I need to replace my hardware? Patrick, would you like to take this one?
Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes,
yeah, happy to take that one. Depending on your version and where you're at, normally there's a need for us to at least get you a new back office PC, have someone from our implementations team come online to get that set up and everything moved over. We're going to work with you pretty closely to make sure that we can maximize your current hardware investment. But some of it will just depend on what version you're on today. and what hardware you have on hand. But yeah, typically we can use your existing hardware. And again, you're looking primarily at looking at most likely a new PC as a minimum to get you up and going.
Great, thanks, Patrick. So another question here is, you mentioned earlier that there is, during the upgrade process, that there would be needed to sign up with a payment processing partner. Is that required to do an upgrade? And I'll take that question. So the short answer is no, it's not required that you have to switch payment processing providers to upgrade your Squirrel. If you do have a payment partner, a payment solution that you're using today, it will likely be still compatible with Squirrel 11. We can work with you to ensure if there's any drivers that need to get upgraded for that. But what we have done though is we have partnered up with a number of preferred payment processing partners to offer a secure integrated pay at the counter and pay at the table solution with Squirrel 11. And we have worked with some of our partners to offer some very competitive processing rates that could potentially save you on processing fees and also provide some additional discounts on some of the other upgrade services. So if you want to know more information about this in particular, definitely reach out to your authorized rep or your Squirrel rep to learn more about what's available. Okay, we have one more question here. I'm currently on version 9. Do I need to upgrade to Squirrel 11 to take advantage of the online ordering and third-party delivery? Patrick, would you like to take this one?
Sure, happy to. For the best overall experience, you are going to want to upgrade to Squirrel 11. It's going to give you the most robust feature functionality and options for managing that digital experience, which we showed you a little bit of that earlier. So the recommendation is to do that. There are different versions you can use, but a lot of that functionality is not there. So our recommendation is, yes, go to Squirrel 11. It is our newest software, our flagship software that we're installing everywhere with great success. And we think you'll really enjoy the experience that you're going to get from both an online ordering to a server and manager functionality process.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick. Just give one last call for any questions. Okay, I think that's all the questions we had there. I'm going to turn it back to you, Megan.
Thank you, Cyrus, and thank you to everyone who participated in the Q&A. That is all the time that we have here today, but just to wrap things up, as I mentioned at the beginning, we will follow up with a short post-webinar survey. Your feedback on today's presentation would be greatly appreciated. We will also follow up with an email to view the recording and slides in the next day or so. And on that note, if you would like to see upcoming webinars as well as past recordings, please visit our website at squirrelsystems.com, click blog on the main menu, and then click on webinars. Okay, and once again, if you are interested in learning more about Squirrel version 11, please reach out to your sales rep or authorized reseller. If you're unsure of who that is or you have any questions on today's webinar, we will post a link in the chat to make an appointment with a customer success representative, or you can reach us at the email address below. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining and participating in today's webinar, and have a great rest of your day.